parts of the world were most advanced at different points in history then?
Totally. It shows in this area, the Ocano Valley, these people weren't living nomadically or in small settlements, but in complex societies built long before Europeans arrived. Archaeologists think the cities were active for around 1,000 years.
And archaeologists know this all thanks to this new type of scanning technology. That's the reason we're discovering this now.
Exactly, and as you can imagine, it's not really easy to excavate in the middle of a dense rainforest. So scientists have been using this technology called LiDAR, which stands for light detection and ranging. And it's essentially a type of laser scan. So from an airplane, on the ground, looking for signs in the terrain that might indicate that there are human-made structures buried there. You know, bumps and slopes that don't really fit in the forest's natural landscape, and these would be impossible to spot with the naked eye from inside the forest. But when you scan it with a laser from above, and you can map the whole topography, then these hidden secrets are there.
So we can expect a lot more lost cities to be in the near future?
Absolutely. Laser scanners are getting better and better at scanning through dense forest canopies, and scientists have found evidence of separate rainforest societies that predated European contact elsewhere in the Amazon, including in Bolivia and my home country, Brazil. And 3D laser scanning technology is being used to restore landmarks to preserve historic monuments. So there's a lot of exciting laser science going on.
Yeah, and there's actually a project that's carried out in Romania, so where I'm based, and it also uses LiDAR. Researchers scanned ancient fortresses and burial mounds located in Dăneața County. And the project is carried out by an archaeologist, Dr. Vasile Diaconu, and a team of researchers that includes my friend Alexandra Gira from the Romanian Institute for Earth Physics.
Ah, so you've got the inside gossip on what they're actually scanning.
Yeah.
I interviewed an aerial archaeologist once who surveils huge tracts of desert from a plane, kind of map up what looks like nothing but is actually ancient farming tracts and enclosures really. And I made the mistake of calling it armchair archaeology. And he was so insulted when I said that he hung up the phone and I had to call back and apologise. Anyway.
You know, they're really excited about this because it makes so much cheaper. So it's a big deal for them. Archaeologists are very excited with it.
I love that we've done our first under the radar section about an actual type of radar. So well done, Camilla.
Yay! My pleasure.
Scientists may be scanning the world for lost cities. The Unexpected Elements team have been scanning the inbox for overlooked gems. We love your letters, emails and texts, and it's time to share the best of them. Last week we talked about tattoos with a use. They change colour and so can act as a biosensor. And I asked you what you'd choose to sense if you could. Anonymous writes on WhatsApp, "Hello Unexpected. I found you in the wee hours when I turned the World Service on to accompany me in my awake state. I love the show and have now subscribed. Tattoo ink that changes in response to me. Yes, what a great idea. I'll have a design that shows up low iron and perhaps other key mineral deficiencies. What a great idea." And Reinhardt in Austria emailed to say, "Hello Unexpected team, I really love your story about the functional tattoos. This is the first time that I would consider getting myself a tattoo for analytical purposes of my own condition. So please keep up with this topic, and if something breaking develops, come back to it so that the general public and myself in particular can get notice of it. Thank you in advance. Yours, Reinhardt." Thank you, Reinhardt. Tattoos. Do either of you have them? And would you consider getting them if you could use them to kind of monitor levels within?
I'll take any excuse to get a new tattoo.
How many have you got, Camilla?
2, but they're kind of big, and I've been thinking about getting more. It's just that I'm indecisive.
What would you put you on the spot, if you could have one that sensed anything. So I thought it would be quite fun to get one that kind of flashed up somewhere to tell people that I needed a hug, and then I could just get a hug. That would be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Most people have gone for, Chavi Sachdev in Mumbai on this panel went for monitoring her blood glucose level and more useful things like that.
I think I'd be more pragmatic, maybe, cholesterol levels and glucose levels. It's always fun when you find out from your blood exams, so when I do every 2 months, 6 months, it would be fun just to know them real time, just look at my check and say, hey, look at that, doing good, hard, yeah, keep up the good work.
Or after you've eaten a load of, saturated nachos or something.
Oh.
You're like,
I would look away. Oh, no. I keep it away.
It would also be interesting to have tattoos that would signal other people things. For instance, as an introvert, I would love to have something flashing that says, this is a people day, this is a non-people day. I would just want to stay alone at home and do not talk to anyone else today.
That would be amazing, like a sort of traffic light system, and you could be talking to someone and you could go, oh, sorry, my introvert's just gone to red, and that means I need to now lock myself in a cupboard for a bit and just not talk to people.
It's not you. Yeah, don't get hurt. It's just me. Yeah.
I feel like this tattoo topic's going to run and run. If people do have anything that they'd like to get tattooed as a functional biosensor, then do tell us, do let us know. If you have comments or queries, or just want to say hi, you can contact us on unexpected@bbc.co.uk. We also, at the start of this year, I think it was, we were talking about Esperanto, the made-up easy language that's supposed to be a kind of an international form of communication. And we've had lots more on the topic of Esperanto. So, another anonymous writer tells us, hello, I speak Esperanto. You asked listeners if they speak it or know anyone that does. I'm happy to say mi faras. In addition to myself, however, my son of 10 is a native speaker and his mother is also a fluent speaker. We live in Washington State in the US and we're part of a small active community of speakers, maybe 15 of us. Hope this helps. Adieu. Bill from the UK wrote, most Fridays I join a Zoom conference call organised jointly by the London and Antwerp Esperanto clubs. So there we go. I did ask, does anyone speak it? And from what you're writing, it seems that Esperanto is definitely not dead. Camilla, Andrada, either of you speak Esperanto?
Not really, but I'm just fascinated to know that there are native speakers of Esperanto.
Right? And yeah, a small group, but
it's 50, right?
Someone who's decided, it's going to be a priority.
I'm fascinated by made-up languages, and I'm also thinking that there should be a fairly strong Klingon community, people who are teaching their kids Klingon as a first or second language. That would be interesting to learn.
Why do I feel like, one, those people do exist, and two, they might listen to this show? If they are, then do get in touch. Are you teaching your children Klingon? Unexpected@bbc.co.uk, or you can WhatsApp us or send a voice note on +44 330 678 3080. Or you can send a postcard. I love a postcard. And I hold in my hand some from Dan in Wisconsin, John in California, and Dominic in Scotland. And Dominic writes, I heard you extolling the virtues of the humble postcard. I too am a devotee of the postcard. I feel it's so nice in this increasingly grisly digital age. So, if you agree with Dominic and me, the address for this show is Unexpected Elements, BBC World Service, Cardiff, CF10 4GA, and that's in the UK. Still to come on the show, the team has a nice surprise for me. What random act of kindness have they thought up? Find out after this.
It's Quizman Dan here, back to reveal the answer to this week's Unexpected Elements quiz question. Earlier, we took a look at some distinctively named birds. and asked you which of the following species aren't named after the sound of their call. A, the bobwhite, B, the hamerkop, or C, the whippoorwill. Well, we can tell you the answer is B. The hamerkop isn't named after its call. The shape of its head, with a long bill and the crest at the back, makes it look a bit like a hammer, which is what actually gave the species its name, after the Afrikaans word for hammer. However, both the bobwhite and the whippoorwill are named after their calls. Congratulations if you got that one right, and if you didn't, don't worry, we'll be back with another question next week.
There was a great deal of secrecy involved in this week's Unexpected Elements, where I was asked to show up somewhere in East London for a nice surprise. Well, they didn't say nice surprise, they technically just said surprise. Producer Katie met me outside a building belonging to Queen Mary University of London and started asking odd questions.
So, if I were to ask you to imagine your dream afternoon working on Unexpected Elements, what would that look like?
It would probably involve a beach in the south of France, maybe a cocktail and a canapé. That's not going to happen, I can tell from your face. That's not happening.
I can't guarantee cocktails, but
Okay.
I can guarantee a big surprise.
Lab coats must be worn. Ooh. Okay. Intriguing. Oh, no, we aren't. Wow. Okay. We've just come into a lovely warm room. And there's just lots of plastic tubing connecting lots of boxes, and wandering through the tubes I can see a lot of what look a lot like naked mole rats.
Absolutely, yeah.
They got me. This was a random act of kindness from the Unexpected Elements team. Let me explain. Here on the show, certain topics seem to reoccur. So, Fruit Chat is almost its own show now, given how much research we've done on banana science. Also, popping up again and again in conversation is an unusual animal. It lives underground, it's highly social, it's blind, nude, wrinkly, it's got buck teeth. I mean, swipe right. I was hooked. So, Katie arranged for me to be given a tour from someone who knows a thing or three about naked mole rats.
So I'm Chris Fawkes, and worked on the biology of mole rats, and especially on naked mole rats for quite a few years now. I'm a whole organism biologist based here at Queen Mary University of London. Yeah, so as you can see, there's quite a lot of naked mole rats in the room.
Wow, and there's a naked mole rat traffic jam happening
Exactly,
down
yeah.
that
So
one.
that one there you can see is doing a bit of worker behaviour, smoothing out the tunnels up. See that one just doing a little bit of sweeping
Yeah.
backwards. You'll see them doing that a lot. Everyone's been quite busy at the moment.
How many naked mole rats are there?
There's at last census about 220 or so.
In the through?
Yeah, and we've got about 12, 14 social groups.
Sorry, there's another blockage over here. I'm watching them pull each other's tails and tread on each other to get where they want to go. Are they kind to each other?
Yes.
I mean, that
They-
one's not being kind to that one.
No.
It's just sort of treading on it.
So in a way, the naked mole rats are quite an interesting species to pick on for this kindness theme, because obviously to live in such huge groups, they're very socially tolerant of one another. Once things quieten down in the room, you'll see them all huddled up in their nest chamber together, in close contact, in like a huge pile, and they absolutely love being in skin-to-skin contact. However, despite their apparent almost utopian sort of society where they're cooperating, never reproducing, 99% of naked mole rats probably never reproduce on their own, but rather they help the queen rear offspring. Within that, there is competition though. So although it might seem a really harmonious society, occasionally you can get some fighting going on, and you know, the Queen can be deposed sometimes. There's a little nest chamber huddle down there.
Oh, look
There's
at them. There's a Perspex box down under this shelf, and there's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a lot of naked mole rats piled on top of each other, and they don't seem to be minding it.
That is their absolute state of bliss when they're all huddled together like that.
So, Moni, now that we're away from the boiling hot mole rat room,
Yeah.
how do you feel after your random act of kindness?
Wait, was the kindness the Unexpected Elements team putting me in a room with 200 plus mole rats?
It might have been, yeah.
I mean, it was very lovely, but just hints for next time. I'll take the French beach. My thanks to naked mole rat scientist Chris Fawkes from Queen Mary University of London, and the team for getting me into a very hot room with these bizarre creatures. So this show has mainly been focused on Random Acts of Kindness Day, Saturday the 17th of February if you're interested. But there is another day, last Wednesday, which was celebrated in countries around the world. It's also reviled in a few, and this day is for being thoughtful and kind to just the person or people you really love. Take a listen.
It's that time of the year again where love literally fills the air. Valentine's Day. But this year could be different, specifically due to the rising cost of living crisis across the globe. Now, earlier on, I spoke to Christine Gaviuni, a financial planner and trainer. And Christine, the cost of almost everything is increasing. How can you please your loved ones on a budget?
There are many things you can do on a budget. First of all, just a call, a message, just tell the person that you love that you're thinking of them, and then have a picnic, plan a picnic. The weather is really good here in Nairobi, so people can actually plan to go to the parks, have a packed lunch and just have a picnic or a long walk.
From our Nairobi office, that was BBC's Lucy Riley on Money Daily. Now, I couldn't not mention St. Valentine's Day this show. Camilla Andrada, do Brazilians and Romanians go big for Valentine's Day?
Well, in Romania there are two holidays actually. There's Valentine's Day and there's also Dragobete on February 24th. That's a local holiday that's inspired from Romanian folklore. And there are some ethnographical sources that say that Dragobete was very kind, and that's why he was chosen as the guardian of love. And some people celebrate one of the holidays, others celebrate both. Some say that Valentine's Day is overly commercial and we should stick with our own Dragobete. In total, we have 4 holidays around this time in which small gifts are exchanged, if we also count March 1st and A. And that's why some grumpy people in Romania call this the dark rectangle.
What, they've got to be nice and thoughtful and get gifts 4 days a year? Outrageous. Camilla, what about Brazil?
So in Brazil, Valentine's Day is actually celebrated on June 12th. February, it's Carnival, so it's hard to compete with that. And actually, the June 12th date was created in the 1940s by this publicist in Sao Paulo, specifically because it was a month of slow sales in retail. And it actually worked, so it's kind of a big deal now. People know it's a holiday created for consumerism, but they still go all out and buy the presents, the flowers, the chocolates, go to overcrowded restaurants, etc.
That's great. I was looking at the stats of how much Valentine's Day costs, what people spend. I'd love to say that love is free, but the stats tell another story, and that is that if you show your love, it's usually through the tried and tested tokens which cost money. So residents of Hong Kong are the big spenders. I think it's more than $100 each. But I was fascinated to learn that Americans have spent $20 billion on flowers and jewellery and chocolates and meals out. And as I trawled through the stats, something pinged in my brain, and I remember from a couple of years ago on the BBC World Service, More or Less host Tim Harford was talking to mathematician and broadcaster Hannah Fry. Now, she has obviously run the numbers on the best strategy for dating, so I thought I'd share that.
Probably one of my favourite examples is a mathematical argument to say that you should always be the person who approaches people at a party. I know that when I was single, I would sort of sit back and I'd let people come to me. But the thing is that you can show mathematically that to do that, you'll always end up much worse off than if you're the person doing the approaching, however difficult it is to do. So it's called the stable marriage problem.
The Gale-Shapley algorithm.
Gale-Shapley algorithm.
Which won a Nobel Prize for economics recently. Sort of influenced the way that kidneys get dished out these days, but that's perhaps not quite so romantic.
Yes, perhaps not.
So explain the algorithm.
So imagine that you have a group of boys and girls at a party. It's a bit easier if you have two groups who are just targeting each other. If the boys do all of the approaching, they have sort of an ordered list in their heads of who they prefer out of all of the girls, right? So what they do is they'll start at the top of their list, and then if they get rejected, they'll work their way down. Whereas the girls, on the other hand, who are standing back and letting the boys approach them, they'll end up with the least bad person that approaches them, which in comparison to the boys, who get the best girl who'll have them. So you can prove this mathematically, that if you're in the group that does the approaching, you're always better off.
So, statistically, fortune favours the brave. Did any of our listeners make the first move despite not wanting to? I mean, someone had to, right? I want all the romantic details, even if we are a science show. Email unexpected@bbc.co.uk, or you can WhatsApp us on +44 330 678 3080. Camilla, Andrada, dare I ask, have you